Most people think you need a six-figure salary to retire comfortably, but I'm going to show you exactly how to build a retirement fund that pays you forever using just a $50,000 income. The strategy I'm about to share has helped thousands of regular people quit their jobs decades early, and the best part is you can start with as little as $100. By the end of this video, you'll have the complete roadmap to turn your modest salary into true financial independence through dividend investing. Meet Sarah, a 30-year-old teacher making exactly $50,000 a year. She was drowning in the belief that retirement was a pipe dream on her salary. Fast forward 15 years, and Sarah now receives over $4,000 every month in dividend payments. She didn't inherit money, didn't get lucky with crypto, and didn't start some viral business. She simply followed the exact system I'm about to break down for you. The problem with traditional retirement advice is it assumes you're making $70,000 or $80,000 minimum. Financial advisors throw around numbers like save 10% of your income without acknowledging that 10% of $50,000 feels impossible when you're paying rent, buying groceries, and trying to have any semblance of a life. But here's what they don't tell you. Dividend investing operates on a completely different timeline and methodology than traditional retirement planning. While everyone else is trying to accumulate a massive nest egg to withdraw from later, dividend investors build income streams that grow larger every single year without ever touching the principal. If you want to see exactly how this works with real numbers and specific stocks that can get you there, subscribe right now. I break down these strategies every Tuesday and Friday, showing you the exact companies, the precise allocation percentages, and the step-by-step process to build your dividend machine. Hit that subscribe button, because what I'm about to show you builds on everything we cover on this channel. Now, before we dive into Sarah's exact strategy and the specific stocks she used, I need to warn you about something that's going to sound completely counterintuitive. There's a mathematical mistake that almost every beginner makes when they start dividend investing, and it actually makes them poorer over time. I'll show you exactly what this mistake is and how to avoid it in just a few minutes. Let's start with the foundation. The $50,000 dividend strategy works because of three core principles that most people completely misunderstand. First, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep and where you put it. Second, compound growth on a modest salary actually outperforms large salaries with poor savings habits over time. Third, dividend investing gives you multiple streams of income growth that traditional investing simply cannot match. Sarah started her journey by calculating her real available investment capital. On a $50,000 gross salary, she was taking home roughly $38,000 after taxes. After essential expenses like rent, food, transportation, and utilities, she had about $800 left each month. But here's where she made her first smart move instead of trying to invest all $800 immediately. She started with just $200 per month. This left her with $600 for everything else, which meant she could actually stick to the plan long term. Consistency beats perfection every single time in dividend investing. Those $200 per month, invested properly, would eventually become her pathway to financial freedom. The first stock Sarah bought was Johnson & Johnson, ticker symbol JNJ. This healthcare giant has increased its dividend for 61 consecutive years. At the time, it was yielding about 2.7%. With her first $200, she bought partial shares through her brokerage account. The company paid her $1.35 in dividends that first quarter. $1.35 doesn't sound like much, but Sarah understood something crucial that most beginners miss. She wasn't buying Johnson & Johnson for the immediate income. She was buying a dividend growth machine. Every year J&J increases its dividend payment. Her $1.35 would become $1.45 the next year, then $1.55, then $1.68, and so on. Month 2, Sarah added Coca-Cola to her portfolio. KO has increased its dividend for 60 years straight. She put another $200 into Coca-Cola shares, adding another dividend stream to her growing collection. Month 3 brought Microsoft, which had recently started paying dividends and was increasing them aggressively. By the end of her first year, Sarah owned shares in 12 different dividend-paying companies across various sectors. Her total investment was $2,400, and she was receiving about $18 per quarter in dividend payments. $72 per year doesn't change anyone's life. But Sarah was building something much more powerful than immediate income. She was constructing what I call a dividend snowball. Every dividend payment she received was automatically reinvested into more shares of dividend-paying stocks through her brokerage's dividend reinvestment program. Those new shares generated more dividends, which bought more shares, which generated more dividends. This is compound growth in its purest form. Year 2 changed everything for Sarah. Her monthly contributions remained at $200, but now she had an additional source of capital: her growing dividend payments. Instead of receiving $72 in dividends for the year, she received $112 because her stocks had increased their dividend payments and she owned more shares from reinvestment. By year 3, Sarah's dividend income had grown to $198 for the year. Year 4 brought $315. Year 5 delivered $467 in annual dividend income. The snowball was picking up speed. But here's where Sarah made a crucial decision that separated her from investors who never reach financial independence. In year 6, she received a small promotion that increased her salary to $55,000. Instead of lifestyle inflation, she increased her monthly dividend investing to $400 per month while maintaining her same standard of living. This is the power of what I call stealth wealth building. While her coworkers were upgrading their cars and apartments, Sarah was upgrading her dividend machine. The extra $200 per month seemed insignificant at the time, but it would eventually become the difference between comfortable retirement and true financial independence. By year 10, Sarah's portfolio was generating over $2,000 annually in dividend income. Her stocks continued increasing their payments year after year. Johnson & Johnson had increased its dividend 7 more times. Coca-Cola had bumped its payment 6 times. Microsoft had doubled its dividend twice. The beautiful thing about dividend growth investing is that your income rises faster than inflation, without you having to do anything. While people on fixed income see their purchasing power erode over time, dividend investors see their purchasing power increase automatically. Now, at the 5-minute and 45-second mark, we've covered the foundation of Sarah's success. But there's a critical problem that threatens to destroy everything we've built so far. Most dividend investors make a catastrophic error right around year 10 that can cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars in potential income. They start chasing yield, and it ruins everything. Here's what happens. You're 10 years into your dividend journey, you're seeing real money coming in quarterly, and you start noticing stocks that pay much higher dividends than what you own. Instead of Johnson & Johnson's 3% yield, you see a stock paying 8% or 10%. The temptation becomes overwhelming. Sarah almost fell into this trap. She discovered a real estate investment trust paying 9% annually. On her portfolio value at the time, switching to this high-yield stock would have nearly tripled her immediate dividend income. She was ready to make the move until she did the math on what this decision would cost her long-term. High-yield dividend stocks typically don't grow their payments over time. That 9% yield stays 9% year after year, while her dividend growth stocks continue increasing their payments annually. In 10 years, her boring 3% yielding stocks would be paying 5 or 6% on her original investment due to dividend increases, while the high-yield stock would still be paying 9%. But the real kicker is what happens over 20 or 30 years. Sarah's dividend growth stocks compound their payments annually, while high-yield stocks often cut their dividends during economic downturns. The seemingly conservative choice of higher immediate income actually represents much higher long-term risk. Sarah stayed the course with quality dividend growth companies, and by year 15, her portfolio was generating over $8,000 annually in dividend income. But remember, she had increased her monthly contributions to $400 in year 6, so her total investment over 15 years was $68,400. Here's where the math gets really exciting. In year 16, Sarah's annual dividend income exceeded $10,000. Year 17 brought $13,000. Year 18 delivered $16,000 in dividend payments. The acceleration was happening because she now owned so many shares that even small dividend increases translated to hundreds of additional dollars in annual income. By year 20, Sarah was receiving over $24,000 annually in dividend income. This was happening automatically, without her having to sell a single share or time any markets. Her monthly dividend checks were covering her rent, her car payment, and a significant portion of her living expenses. Year 25 marked Sarah's financial independence milestone. Her portfolio was generating over $42,000 annually in dividend income. Since she had kept her living expenses roughly the same throughout her journey, this dividend income covered nearly all of her essential costs. But Sarah didn't stop working immediately. She continued her job for 2 more years, reinvesting every dividend payment to accelerate her wealth building. When she finally retired at 57, her dividend machine was producing over $58,000 annually, more than her original salary. The specific stocks that made this possible weren't exotic or complicated. Sarah's final portfolio included dividend aristocrats like Procter and Gamble, which has increased its dividend for 67 consecutive years. She owned Walmart, which has raised its dividend for 50 years straight. Her portfolio included Pepsi, Abbott Laboratories, Target, Home Depot, and about 15 other household names that consistently grow their dividend payments. The key wasn't finding secret stocks or timing the market perfectly. The key was consistency, patience, and understanding that dividend growth investing is a marathon, not a sprint. Sarah invested $200 per month for 5 years, then $400 per month for 22 years. Her total contributions over 27 years were $128,800. That investment of $128,800 now generates $58,000 annually in passive income, and that income continues growing every year. The dividend payments increase faster than inflation, so Sarah's purchasing power actually improves during retirement instead of declining like most retirees experience. But here's what makes this strategy truly powerful. Sarah never has to sell her stocks to generate income. Traditional retirement planning requires you to gradually sell your investments to fund your lifestyle, which means your nest egg gets smaller every year. With dividend investing, your portfolio typically continues growing in value while simultaneously paying you increasing amounts of income. The $50,000 salary strategy works because it's based on realistic numbers and achievable goals. You don't need perfect market timing, you don't need to pick the next Amazon, and you don't need to save 50% of your income like some extreme financial independence advocates suggest. You need 3 things: consistency in your monthly investments, patience to let compound growth work its magic, and the discipline to reinvest your dividends during the accumulation phase. Sarah did exactly this, starting with just $200 per month on a $50,000 salary. The beauty of this approach is that it scales with your income. If you start making $60,000, you can invest more each month and reach financial independence even faster. If you start with $40,000, you might need to invest for a few extra years, but the mathematics still work in your favor. Your homework is simple but crucial. Calculate your after-tax income, subtract your essential expenses, and determine how much you can consistently invest every month. Start with an amount that feels comfortable and sustainable. It's better to invest $100 monthly for 30 years than to invest $500 monthly for 6 months, and then stop. Open a brokerage account that offers commission-free stock purchases and automatic dividend reinvestment. Start building your dividend portfolio with 1 or 2 quality dividend growth stocks, then add a new position every few months. Focus on companies with long histories of dividend increases rather than chasing the highest current yields. If you want to accelerate this process and start with smaller amounts, you need to check out my video called The $1,000 Dividend Strategy Nobody Talks About. I break down exactly how to build your first dividend stream with just $1,000 and show you the specific stocks that can generate meaningful income even with smaller initial investments. You can find that video on your screen. It's the perfect companion to what we've covered today and will show you how to get started immediately, regardless of your current financial situation.